Y'all ready, kids?
I said it before and I'll say it again.
The whole thing is ridiculous.
You've just tuned in to the greatest radio show on earth. You're listening to the Mixed Talk Radio with Andres T. Your home for news, sports, hot topics, and more. And now the host of the show, Andres T.
Good morning, good afternoon, good day, whenever you're tuning in. How are you doing? I'm Andres T, and you are listening to Chalk Talk here on ESPN Radio 101.7 The Team and the Mixed Talk Radio on the Mixed Media Network. Yes, sir, I'm all about talking news, sports, current events, hot topics, and more. So thank you for listening. I am stoked to be here with you today, and I hope you enjoyed last show when I was broadcasting live from the Fiery Food Show. And if you didn't catch it, just look it up on the mixedmedianetwork.com. It was a blast. Food was great, hot, fun stuff, barbecues, all that great stuff. So I hope you're having a fantastic day. Thanks a lot again for tuning in. Today's show is going to be awesome. Lots on the show today. Did you hear a car start? Yes. I have a real treat for you. I have a special guest, former IndyCar driver Jim Guthrie, in studio to talk about the new NAPA Speedway here in Albuquerque. And also up on the show, some NASCAR trivia. And topping off the show is the Combat Sports Update with Sal Mora, brought to you by McCartney Sports and Entertainment. So fantastic show lined up for you today. Don't forget, you tune in and catch the show every Saturday morning on the radio dial at 7 a.m. at 101.7 The Team KQTM FM in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho. And remember, you can get it on demand. Yes, at your fingertips. The mixtalkradio.podbean.com or the mixedmedianetwork.com. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you're thinking. Give me some feedback and questions, comments, whatever. Hit me up with the message, themixtalkradio@gmail.com, themixtalkradio@gmail.com, and like the Mixed Talk Radio on Facebook, as well as like the Mixed Media Network. So thanks again for tuning in and listening to the show. All right, here's some interesting trivia for you. Driving the car, driving around. Yeah, well, get this. Stock car racing, well, originally, in the beginning, it is exactly what it sounded like. NASCAR, or the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, formed in 1947. Now, these drivers actually bought brand new cars from the dealers and went racing. Now, original races were run on dirt tracks, and cars were modified to be more durable. Now, even though racers used stock cars in the beginning, today's NASCARs have very little in common with common cars that you see every day. Just about every little detail on NASCAR cars are handmade, from frames, bodies, tires, and engines. Here's a quick fact about the body style of a NASCAR. Did you know there are two different types of bodies and cars used in NASCAR racing? Yeah, short track cars and super speedway cars. Now, in short track, the goal is to design a short track car to create as much downforce as possible. This makes the cars go round, tighter turns quickly as possible. Now, downforce comes with the penalty of increased drag, but on the short tracks, reducing drag is not so important because the engines are able to make their full power output as they are not limited by restrictor plates, and the speeds are generally lower. Now, on the second style, on the super speedways, the track is much longer and straighter, and the banking is high, allowing cars to maintain a high speed all the way around the track. Now, the goal in building a super speedway car is to reduce drag as much as possible. These tracks require the use of restrictor plates that reduce engine power from about 750 horsepower to 450. Boom. There's some NASCAR trivia for you. Anyways, let's race into our next topic. And today on the show, I have a special. And we're going to get our race on. And I have former IndyCar racer, owner of Car Crafters, and head honcho of the new NAPA Speedway in studio, Mr. Jim Guthrie. How you doing, Mr. Jim Guthrie?
I'm doing good, buddy. Thanks for having me on this morning.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And, we'll dive into racing and more in just a bit. But for those who don't really know who you are, give us a little bit of background. Talk about yourself.
Okay, now it's time to self-promote. Now, I was a Rookie of the Year, 1997, and unsponsored, we built the IndyCar in the garage, went over to Phoenix and beat the big dogs. That was a good time. 97, we led 4 out of 7 races, so that was our heyday year for the IndyCar series, and then went to Indy 3 times, and then we didn't make the field in 01. We crashed the day before qualifying, so
no,
that was kind of the...
Anytime he crashes.
Yeah. It's expensive. I didn't get hurt, but it was expensive.
At least you walked away from it.
That's
right. Now, you're not from Albuquerque. Where are you from?
Well, I was born in Alabama, but I'm a native. I've been here over 48 years.
Okay,
so I'm a native.
You're automatically.
Oh, yeah.
I think you qualify for that. Now I mentioned before, you are the owner of Car Crafters, and which is a collision mechanical, glass repair, customization type of shop. How long have you been doing that?
We just started our 30th year in January. Yeah,
30 years.
I'm not even that old. I don't know how it happened.
That's cool that you're into that thing. I mean, very few people have the talent for that. And how did you get your start in customizing repair?
It was all by accident. It was out practicing, driving around neighborhoods that were being built in my car, back in the day, or my motorcycle. I had a road racing bike as well. So, you practice. Next thing you do, you crash. Next thing you know, you're fixing it in your garage. And then your friends are bringing you their cars, and then your neighbors. And so I was going to school to be a dental implantist, if you could imagine that.
Wow.
And, so I took a huge departure with cars, girls, skiing, motorcycles, and here we are.
Fast pace of life.
Oh, yeah, the fun stuff. I didn't really have a passion for the dentistry thing.
I read your story about your parents. Oh, well, you need to either go do dentistry or you need to get a shop, and that's when you kind of just were like, okay, I think I'll go get a shop. Does just the love of cars run in your family, or is it just kind of just like you're the firstborn with this?
I think I'm kind of the firstborn. Everybody else, all my aunts and uncles, of course, they're still back in the South. My uncle owns a die casting company, and he makes parts for cars. But, all very different backgrounds. My dad sold insurance for Allstate for 25 years. And so a very different, low-risk lifestyle. So then I come along and get a motorcycle at the age, 10 or 11, and then it was all downhill from there. So,
as they say, downhill.
Yeah.
Now, for those who don't know, where's Car Crafters located?
600 Montano, right across from Bob Turner's and Home Depot, right there. Montano and Renaissance.
There you go. Okay. Yeah. All right. So if you have any issues, hey, that's the place to go.
There you go.
I had to throw you a little plug there. Now, coming back to your IndyCar racing, man, you talked a little bit about it. What was your most memorable moment in an IndyCar?
I'd have to say the Indy 500. I mean, that place is magical. You walk out there on race morning, and it's just like there's this excitement or electricity in the air, and there's almost 500,000 people there. And the balloons and all the pomp and
the
circumstance.
noise, everything.
It is crazy beyond belief. I mean, that was a magical moment, I'd have to say. Winning Phoenix was pretty cool too, but I mean, Indy's
the big
Indy's
kahuna.
Magical.
I mean,
it's pretty magical.
Okay,
So.
now did you always want to race cars, or was this something that you're just like, well, you're in the line of work of rebuilding, repairing, customizing cars, so I think it just goes hand in hand. How did that come about?
Yeah, pretty much. I think it started with slot cars when I was like 6 years old and had to carry them around the neighborhood and beat all my friends. And it was just like, it was on from there, man. I mean, and that's why I pushed to get a motorcycle. And, so just one thing led to another. And of course, Indy 500 has always been like the pinnacle of racing. So
Absolutely.
Never missed one, I always watch it on TV. And so it was cool. I had a pace car, Mustang pace car back in the day. So I've always been enamored with it. But to be able to compete in it, oh man, that was something else.
Now you did pass a little bit of racing down to your son, who did race as well. So I mean, I guess you're starting a line. Maybe for your future grandson might be a racer.
Yeah, I think with the racing background of Sean and Jen, it might be better than what I had. But no, we'll see what happens. But Sean and I had a great time together doing go-karts and then all the way up to Indy Lights.
Okay.
He did some IndyCar testing, and it's just all about money these days, and that requires I'd have to have like 100 car crafters to do that. So
time and money gets expensive.
Oh man, there's a lot of zeros in IndyCar racing.
Now, drifting is something that's really, really making its way forward in kind of pop culture, and so to speak. And you've been dipping your hand in drifting. I did. Was this something that you saw Tokyo Drift, Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, and you're like, I think I want to do that?
Yeah, I saw the movie, but it was like I never even thought about doing it. So, I took over as president of the Speedway a couple of years back and decided to go out and meet some of my customers. And the drift kids were there. And I was out there cruising the GT, and they said, hey, you got to go for a ride with Turbo Dan. Turbo Dan, who's that? Well, he's the guy over there in that S13. So I'm like, all right, hey, Turbo Dan, I got my helmet. Let's go for a ride. Oh, man, after that, I was
You were hooked?
I was hooked. I was like, this is a kick in the pants. It is totally out of control, but in control. And within 2 weeks, I had a car and
Wow.
started drifting. I mean, it is so totally different than everything I've ever done in motorsports. And it was just like, the culture's a little weird, you know, because everybody's friends. And it's not like that at the high level of IndyCar or any other competition.
It's like, you're my enemy. I want to go kick
Exactly.
your ass.
It's-
You know,
yeah,
you're just
it's
like, ah.
2 men in or 1 man leave. Not in drifting. It's a totally different culture. And so, you know, it's very different, and I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
Now, I did see that video you did with motorcycle versus car drift, and I had to say that was on YouTube, and that was actually fun to watch, man. And what were you thinking when or what would you guys do? How'd you guys come up with this idea to make this video?
Well, Ernie Vigil is one of the Icon sponsored riders,
Okay.
and I think he's like number 3 in the world here, and his friend Nick Apex, and Ernie practices out at the Speedway. So we do a little trade. He does some shows, and I let him have a place to practice. So he says, hey, my Icon guys, they got this idea of a drift bike, and they want a place to do it. And I said, well, let's do it. Next thing you know, it's a bike, and then it's a bike and a car, and it's never been done. And I'm like, yeah, we can do this. So we filmed for a couple of days, and of course, it's all about the bike winning. But you know, had to set up a lot of shots, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And then, of course, they did the second one.
Well, you know, it has over almost 5 million hits. I mean,
I think it was 8 last time I saw.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, a lot of hits, and I mean, it's fun to watch. It's cool. I mean, they have the little point of view from the little RC car as well.
Yeah, and
You
the
know?
helicopter. Yeah.
That's cool stuff, man. I mean, that's like a guy's dream to be, you know, remote control cars, racing cars, motorcycles. You know, yeah.
And those guys at Icon, they get to do it all day.
It's like you
All
get
day.
paid
They
to
get
do all
paid
that
to play.
stuff. I mean, you can't beat that.
They're already working on Drift 3, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's going to be 2 bikes and 2 cars. So it'll be Dan and I, and then Ernie and
Yeah,
Nick,
because I
so.
know the second one was Dan with chasing the bikes
That's
in
right.
the police
That's Turbo
car.
Dan. That's because I had crashed at Irwindale.
Okay.
And I had hurt my neck, so I was in the hospital, so I wasn't going to be driving anytime soon. So I said, hey, Dan, I
Fill in
totaled the
for me.
car. We had to build a Mustang in about a week and get it to Washington
Wow.
and Oregon. So, yeah, we knocked it out pretty quick. So Dan did a great job.
That's incredible. Well, now what do you typically race or drift with? Not race, but drift with. What kind of car?
Well, we had a FDRX7 with a supercharged LS1, and that car is already in the scrap truck, so that's gone. Right now, we're just about to complete a 2011 Mustang GT with the 5.0. It's supercharged, NASCAR tranny in it, sprint car, quick change rear end, all very purpose-built, radiators in the back. Very, very cool car. So very drift specific.
Now between drifting and straight flat out racing, what is it? I mean, they are two totally different things. And what separates one from the other?
Well, in drifting, you're not allowed to pass, which
Okay.
is kind of a bummer.
Yeah,
I'm
because you're
programmed
used to
pass.
racing to pass. Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna figure out your weakness and I'm gonna pass you. In drifting, it's all about being out of control, but not being out of control. You got to look crazy. You got to be totally out of control. You got to have big angle, big smoke. It's all about the show.
Okay.
And unfortunately, it's a subjective measurement instead of a finish line.
Okay.
That's the part that I don't really like.
You're
'Cause
like, I just want to get to the finish line first.
yeah, I mean, you got
Yeah.
3 judges, right? And if they don't like you, they had a bad day or whatever, they don't like the color of your car, well, you don't get as many points as the other guy. So, you know, that's okay because I've already been at the other end of the spectrum, and so now I'm just out to have fun. And so that's okay. That's okay. The subjective thing is all right.
Absolutely. Now, coming to the track, the new NAPA Speedway, and it was formerly known as Sandia Motor Speedway. And like I've mentioned before, you're the head honcho now. You're running the show now.
That just means I get to pay the bills.
Okay.
They knock on my door.
Now tell me, why the change? Why the change now, and why Napa?
Well, you know, it was something that I had been working on with NAPA at the end of last year, and I had taken it to the board, and they liked the idea. And then one of our meetings, one of the board members suggested that we just lease the facility. And he had a fellow that wanted to lease and wanted to make a proposal to the board. And I said, well, if he's going to make a proposal, I'd like to make one too. So they said, well, this would be great for the shareholders. We'll make it a competition.
Okay.
So I recused myself from the board meeting, and of course I did my presentation, and the other fellow did his, and then the board made their decision, and of course they chose me. So So then now I get to pay the bills.
That's a good way to put it.
So,
Napa is huge. I mean, it's huge. It goes hand in hand with racing. I mean, it's all about performance auto parts, and so definitely, I think that is a great thing for the Speedway. Now, what do you think, since the change, what do you think how do you think it will affect the Speedway in regards to bringing more people in or more types of events, races?
well, first of all, NAPA has, they've come forward to help with, of course, the naming rights, which has some dollar value to it, obviously. So that's good. But they want what we want, which is a first-class facility. So we're putting a lot of money in the facility to really make it what it was when they first opened, because it needs some remodeling, it needs some paint and some freshening up. But what's cool about NAPA is the racing heritage. I mean, the NAPA know-how and the silly wall trip commercials.
Yeah.
Everybody knows, right? They know about their quality auto parts and their guarantees on all their stuff. I mean, it's a perfect marriage, right?
Yeah.
So so we sold the naming rights to NAPA, and they're going to be there as long as I'm there, I hope. And they're going to bring their other vendors in.
Okay.
So I mean, you
can
just
only
gonna
grow.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Now, what different types of racing are we going to see? The same kind of racing we did back when it was the Sandia Motor Speedway, or are there going to be new types of racing? Talk about that.
All right, so we'll start on the asphalt side.
Okay, absolutely.
We've got a quarter-mile asphalt track, oval, and then a half-mile asphalt track, almost a 1.7-mile road course. So we're going to do, obviously, our asphalt oval program, our asphalt vintage racing, and then we also have SMRI, which is the motorcycle road racing guys. They have, I think, like 14 events this year. They got a special show coming up at Billy's March 17th. It's a Daytona viewing party.
Okay.
So that's going to be pretty cool. Put that on your calendar. Let's see what else we got. We got motocross. We're going to have about a dozen events this year on the new track. The flat track boys are coming out. They've got a dozen shows. That's almost double from last year. USAC's coming out on the quarter midget track. The remote control track is up and going again.
Wow.
Let's see what else we got over there. Oh, the new dirt track. What am I? Man, duh.
Don't forget about that.
High bank dirt track. We got sprint cars coming for 5 different shows.
Sweet.
Mini sprints, modifieds, the cruisers, the stock cars. I mean, so it's a full every weekend is pretty much there's something going on. On the asphalt track, we have 8 events this year, and on the dirt, we have 8 events. And these are special events, special VIPs, special purses to get that draw from the out-of-town racers.
So are there a lot of local racers racing and competing in these events?
There's probably as many local as there is out of town.
Oh, wow. So there's a good mix.
There's a really good mix. This last weekend, there were 90 cars in the modified class down in Las Cruces. So, I mean, we'd like to just draw 15 or 20 of those, and you can do that with the good purses that we have lined up, the guaranteed purses, which is another departure from the past. So
yeah,
it's just some of the different things we're doing.
Now I know, like I said before, I haven't been there since 2003. It's been a while, been to the racetrack, and so what other types of entertainment ideas or different things are happening in the Speedway that are sure to bring other people, or everybody of all ages and walks of life.
I think that's where we have failed in the past, and that's what we want to change. We never spent the time and effort to get that.
Mm-hmm.
It's the old thing: if Mama's happy, everybody's happy. There's got to be something for Mama, got to be something for the kids. So Michael McKernan from McKernan Sports, he's building a kid zone. We've got a midway, so all that promenade area behind the grandstands, we'll have vendors that come and set up their booths and things. He's taken over the concessions this year. He's also bringing out some boutique concessionaires, so we'll have latte coffee and pizza and different things that we haven't had in the past. Going to bring some local bands out. So, I mean, he's got some great ideas. It's going to be an entertainment
venue, not just race.
Instead of just racing,
it's gonna be everything.
We're gonna be a lot of fun.
Everything entertainment, really.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have basically static displays of anything from campers to cars out of there. So just like a mini fair, something to do. And only having those 8 events on the dirt and 8 on the asphalt allows us to really put on a nice show. So it should be a lot different than it has been in the past. And we're gonna crawl, then walk, and then run. So
Yeah, absolutely. Gotta grow. Now,
That's right.
one great thing is NASCAR is coming to the Speedway. Talk about that.
we haven't made the official press release, but it is coming.
Excitement.
September 29th. So it's going to be kind of like a mini speed week. We're going to kick off the week on Thursday night with a sprint car and a modified mini sprint, very special show.
Cool.
And then we'll move back across the parking lot for NASCAR practice on Friday. And then Saturday they'll run their qualifying and race. And, of course, we'll do our complete show. So it's going to be 3 full days of racing. And we're basically going to sell an event pass for that, or you can buy a ticket for whichever one you want, and or pit passes or VIP too.
So definitely this is, NASCAR. Is this the first time a NASCAR event is actually taking place at the Speedway?
Well, they used to be NASCAR sanctioned,
Okay.
but that's different. This is the actual K&N West Series.
Okay.
So this is a series that ran last weekend at Phoenix, right after the Nationwide Series. So these are the up and coming guys that are not quite nationwide, but they're either K&N or ARCA. So that's the 2 feeders to the Nationwide Series.
But it still is NASCAR.
Yeah, and it's the old NASCAR Cup cars. So it's the cars before the car tomorrow, the
Okay.
COT cars.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
those cars with LS or Ford spec-based engines. And so it's really close. It's basically like the Cup car. It's very, very spec in their horsepower displacement stuff. So they put on some good shows. They have a 15-race series.
Okay.
Will be right at the end of the season. They do big ovals, small ovals, road courses. So
All kinds
some
of
good
difference.
kids. Billy Boat's kid, Chad. I used to race with Billy at Indy.
Okay.
So Chad has come up through the ranks of go-karts and mini sprints and USAC midgets, and so now he's in one of those cars. So he'll be here racing too. So be pretty cool.
Have you gotten into a NASCAR before, or why didn't you go NASCAR?
All of my Alabama brethren asked me that, but
Being from the South,
being from the South, you would think. No, I don't know. I've always been enamored with the Formula cars.
Okay.
The open cockpit. I did a year in the limited late models. Down here at our local dirt track years and years ago. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. But it's not the same. It's just not the same.
The feeling, everything's different.
Everything's very different. You're kind of driving the level of the car instead of level of you. And the Indy car can it's like an F-16.
Uh-huh.
It'll outperform the pilot. So that's what's cool. It really pushes the driver.
You wanted to feel the rush,
Oh
did
man.
you?
Oh, you do too.
All right. What is there anything else about the Speedway that that's happening, or anything else you would like to add about the Speedway?
Well, the new website, NAPASpeedway.com.
Yeah, that's up. Yes.
HoldMyTicket.com. All the tickets can be bought now online. Print them at home. Come on through the gate, or you can basically reserve them online and then pick them up when you get there. If you don't want to pay by credit card on the computer. Let's see, what else? April 28th, that's our kickoff of the season for the dirt
Starting
track.
up.
I think USAC is also here. There'll be probably a lot of I think there were 3 NASCAR drivers that brought their kids out for this event last year.
Okay.
So there'll be probably 200 entries out there on the USAC.
Wow.
And it's the same time. It actually happens right before the dirt track evening kicks off. So come out early and watch the USAC race. All the future stars. It's like these little
Yeah.
mini Tony Stewarts running around. They're like 3.5 feet tall, and they're all matching. And yeah,
With their fire suits and everything.
all their fire suits, like 3 of them. 3 of them, they all match. They're all the same. They're like mini
Man, that's funny.
mini Carl Edwards. Yeah. So, yeah,
Well, that's fantastic, man. That sounds awesome. And we're winding down on time here. But Jim, thank you so much, man, for coming on the show. I appreciate your time, and get people out to the Speedway. And I'm gonna be getting out to the Speedway.
We're gonna bring you out there and put you in a drift car.
I would love to try it.
you go.
I've always wanted to get into a car and just just feel speed and just go and
It's a ride of a
drift
lifetime,
and
man.
just do different
It's
things.
fun.
And I know real quick, I did know is the track open to the public to take their cars on?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Forgot to tell you about that. There's so
Yeah.
much going on. We do a cars and coffee, or what we call track time.
Okay.
You can bring your car out. I think it's like pretty much every other Saturday. Right now it's 10 to 2. In the summer it'll be 8 to noon. $50. You get instruction. I'll teach you. There's other certified
Cool.
instructors out there. So come on out and enjoy that.
And you can bring your own car out there.
Bring your own car out.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Last 2 weeks ago, I was training a guy from Santa Fe. He had
Okay.
a brand new Aston Martin DB9 V12.
Nice.
I was like, wow, this is cool. This thing didn't have 200 miles on it. We had a blast.
Oh, so quick. I mean, obviously, being a race car driver, you love cars. What car do you drive right now?
I've got a little Cayenne. Porsche
Okay.
Cayenne. I've got a Corvette, a Mustang. I mean, I like them all. I have them all.
Okay.
You know, it just depends on what day it is. So yeah.
Whatever you're feeling like today, I think
Yeah.
I'm going to drive that. I'm in a Corvette
Well, I don't
day.
have like a million cars, but 4 or 5 cars. So
Almost a car for every day of the week. But
That's right.
well, right on, man. I appreciate your time for coming on the show, giving us a 411 about the NAPA Speedway. I mean, I know this is your baby, and so it's just as awesome to see something else out there in Albuquerque. I mean, there's far few things between, and this is a great way to get out there and spend some time at the track. And Jim Guthrie, appreciate your time, man.
thank you, man. Appreciate
Yes,
it.
it's one of your favorite segments. Yes, it's been a while, been a couple episodes since we've had the segment due to Sal being busy, I'm being busy, everybody's busy. It's okay, it's understandable, but we're coming back and come back strong. And it's time for your Combat Sports Update with Sal Mora, brought to you by McKernan Sports and Entertainment, where they strive to bring you high quality and affordable events and entertainment for members of the communities they serve. Check out McKernan Sports Entertainment at McKernanSports.com. And Sal, you're back.
Yes.
Back from the dead.
Almost halfway dead.
But you're a busy guy, man. So tell us what's been going on. What's up in the world of the combat sports?
Well, this week it's all local combat sports. We're going to kick off with the April 28th card. It was announced with Golden Boy and Golden Girl Promotions out at Santa Ana. And it was announced this past week, Fidel Maldonado will defend his WBC youth belt against Mexico's Fernando Carcamo in a 10-round bout. That's going to happen April 28th. Tickets are on sale. They start at $20. StarTickets.com.
Yeah, make sure I was going to say real quick, if you didn't see the press conference, actually I got the press conference video on demand, themixedmedianetwork.com. Check it out. The press conference is on there. Sorry to interrupt. Go for it, man.
There you go. Cheap plug. There it is. I'm all about those. Uprising, Archie Ray Marquez versus Willie Villanueva. It's a battle of the two North Valley kids from Albuquerque, New Mexico. March 31st, Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. It's a Johnny Tapia Presents card. In the co-main event, it's going to be Joaquin Zamora versus Bernardo Bortaco. I can't say his last name. I murdered his last name. Josh Pitbull Torres will be on the card. Amanda Crispin, Johnny Tapia Jr. will also be on the card. So that's going to happen on March 31st. February 29th. I know it passed and everything. That was a leap year, but I got to mention Carlos Condit Day. It was officially announced by the mayor, and it was stamped, sealed inside. Yes, it's only happening so often. It's a leap year. It's good and bad, but at least New Mexico or Albuquerque, I should say, honored Carlos Condit with his own day. So February 29th from here on out is Carlos Condit Day. King of the Cage, Prohibition, will be Donald Sanchez will be going for the King of the Cage World Championship bout, and it's in the bantamweight division. You know that's March 17th. King of the Cage World Championship bout. Donald Sanchez fights out of Fit NHB. He'll be taking on Jamie Stetchen out of Oklahoma. And so that'll be in Oklahoma. So good luck to Donald Sanchez on that one. Southwest Grapple Fest, April 28th, Rio Rancho High School. For more info, go to their website, combatsportsclub.com. And before I leave, check out my revamped website, salmora.com, for all things entertainment. That's it for this week's Combat Sports Update.
All right, Sal Mora. The Combat Sports Update brought to you by McKernan Sports and Entertainment. Sal, yeah, like I said, check out your revamped site. Looks good, brother. Looks good. And clean, nice, fresh. And so get on there, salmora.com. But Sal, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. All right, we are ending the show today. So I'd like to thank you for tuning in and listening to the show. Yes, the show is on demand at your fingertips on themixedmedianetwork.com. Get it on there. Listen to all the great shows. Get fantastic new on-demand content website. Check it out, themixedmedianetwork.com. Also, hit me with a message. I want to know your thoughts. Let me know what's up. Andres at 1017theteam.com or hit me up, themixedtalkradio@gmail.com. Also, Facebook, yes sir, we like the Mixed Talk Radio on Facebook, as well as the Mixed Media Network as well. And I'm on Twitter, twitter.com/AndresT20. 2023. So I'm done here today. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Make sure you check out what's happening at the NAPA Speedway. Great entertainment, good fun, all coming to you. So I know you're going to have a great time with that as well. So I'd like to thanks again to former IndyCar racer Jim Guthrie for coming on the show. So anyways, have a great rest of the day. Be safe. We'll catch you next time. God bless. And have a fantastic rest of the day. I'm your host, Andres T. And you just tuned to Chalk Talk, airing on ESPN Radio 101.7 KQ2 and FM. And the Mix Talk Radio on the Mix Media Network. I am signing you out.
1 minute to auto-destruct.
Are you the big chief or one of the little Indians?
Tell me your best quality.
Wow, you're shaking things up a bit, huh?
Thanks for tuning into the Mix Talk Radio with your host, Andres T. Download the Mix Talk Radio every Saturday on iTunes.